share with you and welcoming your news as well. Is there anything you've seen that's interesting about Portugal? Anything you want to share about your journey here? And of course, most importantly, get your questions into the Dream Team this evening. Pop them into the chat now. Let's not leave it too late. News as well. Okay, well that's good. That's going out over there on YouTube. And let me just open up my slides in and share this with you, and then we'll say hi to the Dream Team this evening and find out what's going on in their parts of the moving to Portugal industry, basically, and the various parts of what they take care of as professionals for you. Right, where are my slides gone? Right. They should be in download, shouldn't they? Where I thought I'd put them. Let me see if I can't find them straight away. We'll go to the Dream Team and I'll come back with a little bit of news thereafter. So yeah, oh no, here we go. I found them now. Nearly there, everybody. Yes, 27th of March, 2025. Let me bring them onto the screen then now. Right, sharing nearly there. Thank you for bearing with. And I've got my well, I thought I had my. Do you know what, Nunu? Let's go to you first. I can't find them. They've disappeared again. Nunu, how's the world of insurance while I'm finding out where my slides have disappeared to behind the screen? How are you, my friend?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So the world of insurance, it's pretty stable. No big announcements. Yes, a bit overcrowded due to the storms of uh, last week, but it is what insurance are for.
Yes.
So everything is rolling.
Good, excellent. All right. And that's it, is it? So all quiet on the Western Front, basically, for insurance.
Sorry?
All quiet on all fronts then. Just dealing with the claims from the floods, but apart from
Yes,
that, nothing else to
yes, yes,
report.
yes. Basically that. Basically
All
that.
right. Well, thank you for being here tonight. Any questions you've got about insurance, let's put them to Nunu this evening.
Actually, this is the moment of truth, right?
Really?
Yeah, because you pay for something that supposedly it will work. So
All right. We're
this is
about
the
to
moment
find
of
out.
truth.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Alexandra Pinto is here from Global International Relocation. How are you? And how's life in the office where you are today, Alexandra? Oh, there you go. She's just unmuting for
Sorry,
me.
the microphone was off.
Thank
It's
you very much.
getting a little bit more and more busy each day. So I think, well, the peak season for international moving is starting usually from April to September, October, but we can feel that is already starting to picking up already.
Oh, okay. Well, early, ahead of time for you, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, yes, I believe
Amazing.
so. Yeah.
The shoulder of the season is broadening. Any particular highlights, parts of the world where people are showing interest? What's going on at GIR at the moment?
Well, we got a and we going to a lot of events and trying to spread the world of global international relocation. And besides the weather, the awful weather that was last week, and nobody could sleep for the whole night, or at least it was me because I was quite scared with those
Oh, were you?
with this
Oh,
rain.
bless you.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
it was really scary for me. But apart from that, I think everything is gonna go well. It's going well. Yes.
All right. Excellent. Do you get to travel as well around the world with GIR? Are you part of the team that goes around the world?
No, not yet.
Okay. Not yet. I like what you said there. Not yet. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Well, good to have you here. Any
Thank
questions
you.
about moving things to, or even from Portugal, of course? We've got Alexandra here to answer those. And we had a great session with Global Pets last week as well. It was really, really good. So do send our compliments to the Global Pets department as well, because you move animals around the world as well. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Carolina, it's been a while since we've seen you on our screen. How lovely to welcome you here for the Dream Team session. How are you, and how's life at EI at the moment?
Hi, Carl. Hi, everyone. Yes, everything has been going very smoothly. Lately, a lot of Americans have been reaching out, most of comparing to the other nationalities.
Hmm.
We've been feeling an increase. I think it's for natural reasons. And but everything has gone smoothly up until now. no changes, everything is still the same. Normally, when there's an increase of requests, it's normal that they increase requirements to try and funnel out the
Right.
people. But
Yes.
I have not felt that happening yet, at least. So hopefully it maintains like this, at least for the visas. Yeah, regarding the rest, everything is the same old, no news. So hopefully, people are getting appointments very slowly, but some of them are. So for the ones that are trying to get them still, have your head up and
Yeah,
you
good
get.
advice. All right, well, thank you for that. Bit of motivation as well for people, and very interesting. So you say that the government sometimes make the criteria a little bit more difficult to just minimize, or maybe just slow the flow down a little bit. But there's no sign of that at the moment.
Yeah, not the government, the consulates.
Oh, the consulates do that. Okay, right.
Yeah, but not yet. I'm not feeling it yet. So I don't know if this increase of demand maintains, if they
Yeah,
are going to do it or not.
right.
We always report it here if that happens.
Yes.
But hopefully it doesn't.
Okay, so the consulates can get a bit stricter. So they stay within the set law, but they get a bit stricter just to slow the flow down a little bit. But
Yeah.
the good news is nothing's happening like that at the moment, and you'll be the first to know as you tune into the Dream Team sessions here on a Thursday night from 9. Any questions about visas? Carolina's here to answer those. There was more good news from IMA. The good news was that they introduced a contact page, didn't they? A contact facility. The bad news was it didn't work very well. I don't.
Typical
Right.
Ima.
Okay. Yes. It was like, hey. Oh. Okay. The contact form was launched, and hopefully there'll be some improvements really on how well it works as well. So thanks, Carolina, for being here. Let's go to João Amaral. Good evening to you, João. How are things in the motoring industry and your part of moving to Portugal?
Hello, good evening. So, in my business, things are slow this week. Um, we are having lots of contacts, but we are not closing yet. Also, from expats, we are having more and more contacts. We are not closing yet, but we will do.
Yeah.
I just need to say again that maybe people need to understand before they start the search. They need to understand better the automotive market in Portugal. And if you have some questions or something like that, you can ask me, because normally people comes to me with questions, or they want cars or prices for some cars that it's not possible. Okay, sometimes I understand that people come to me when they have contacts 10 or 20 other dealers. Okay, and want me to do a miracle. There are no miracles in this industry. Okay, our stock is almost the same as the other ones. Our prices are almost the same as the other ones. Our service, it's very different from much of the other ones. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't do miracles.
Okay. Well, thank you for pointing
Please
that out.
understand that cars in Portugal are more expensive than you are used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well said. Well
You
said.
need to
Okay.
understand that.
All
It's
right. So
important.
João and colleagues, family are very good, but they're not miracle workers. And the key differentiator for you, as you said, there is service, isn't it? It's all about the service. And if you want some good service, João gets incredible testimonials on that basis.
Yeah, we try to do the difference in mainly in the prep of the car. Okay, servicing the car very well with the oil that the brand wants to put, not any oil.
The cheapest.
Good filters, good discs, good pads, brake pads, to do all the things that the car needs to be in very, very, very good condition. Okay,
Yes, for the long term,
that's the
not
main
a quick
difference.
buck. Yep. Okay. So if you want great service and a car that's going to last, you need to speak to Joao Amaral. And he's right. It's about the questions. So we're a bit light on questions so far. It's really nice to be here and hanging out with everybody, but this is all about a Q&A about moving to Portugal. So get your questions into the chat and we'll get to your question, Tim, about golden visas in just a moment. A good man to speak to about that will be Daniel Reyes, who's also with us this evening. How are you, Daniel?
Yeah, hello. I'm quite all right. It's been a busy week. On our side, we are resubmitting a lot of golden visa processes because AIMA forced all golden visa applicants that still didn't have the biometric data collected to resubmit the processes. So we are gathering documents, submitting the process as necessary. And hopefully we'll have the biometric data collection phase in a few weeks, hopefully. But we're expecting that to occur. So we're seeing some movement in the golden visa situation, and that's positive. And we're seeing a renowned interest for golden visa via the investment funds as well. And I would say probably our main area in the office, and this is connected with real estate purchases, has been quite strong this last week with new contacts. So it has been a big week for work with a lot of work and not so much rest, but it is what it is.
Mate, thank you so much for being here with us this evening then. It sounds like you've had a bit of a busy one and a little bit tired.
Yes.
Thank you so much for staying up and being with us between 9 and 10 this evening.
Started at
Sure.
7:30, so
Oh, bless you. Right.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So the
Yeah.
least we can do is get some good questions to you this evening.
Yes.
I think that may have answered your question there, Tim. I don't know if you've got anything further to add. I'll go to some news stories now. I've been encouraged by Diana. Thanks, Daniel, for being here. Any questions about the law, of course, conveyancing and the subjects he mentioned there, pop them into the chat and we'll make sure he gets those. And get that man a coffee as well. Thanks so much for sharing current events, Carl. I'll do some now. We're going to the International Chocolate Festival next week due to your mentioning it at a recent town hall. Well, that's really brilliant to hear. And we welcome incoming messages about wonderful things that are going on in Portugal. It's springtime. The weather's improved. There are great things to do. There always are, I mean, throughout the year, but it's a great time to be visiting other parts of the country. If you're doing that, let us know what you're up to, and we'll do our best to feature those as well. So I'll try this sharing again. I might have jinxed myself. No, here we go. I think you should be seeing some Taste Portugal action here on the screen, I believe. This is Taste Portugal looking at various dishes. And I'm going to find out later if the Dream Team agree with this analysis of whether it's for newbies, experts, or pros on here. I think people should start with a Café con Cheirinho as a newbie, quite frankly. We'll come back to that. Some great news, and this of particular interest, I think, possibly to Nuno here. The SNS to hire more than 1,000 doctors. This from the Portugal News. The National Health Service, the SNS here in Portugal, will be able to hire more than 1,000 retired doctors, including 500 family doctors by the end of the year. Health Minister Ana Paula Martins announced today. I think that's good news, isn't it, Nuno?
I don't know because they have tried these like 18 months ago,
right?
And it was a failure.
Is it because they're appealing to retired doctors? Why retired? Why not just any doctors?
Because there are no new doctors.
Okay.
So this is the problem.
Okay, there's a supply problem. Okay.
Yeah, it's a problem. It really is a problem. And this is one of the reasons why healthcare costs are going up year by year.
Okay, interesting. So it's an old idea that's being tried again, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
they are trying the same with teachers, for example.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Curbing my enthusiasm, right there.
Oh.
No, but that is what you're here to do. I thought this was very interesting. I didn't know that one of the favorite places for Portuguese people to keep money was in the ground. Burying cash costs Portugal millions. This is from Euro Weekly News. While burying money is the most common cause of money being damaged and then it has to be taken back to the central bank to be changed, forgotten stashes have been found in microwaves. If you're going into an Airbnb in Portugal, check the microwave for money and the fireplace. Maybe you don't want to check the septic tank, but that's also another place where money is stored by and stashed by some people in Portugal. The person quoted here, Ferreira, who I believe is the person who's overseeing the exchange of damaged money and making that good again. It stems from a distrust of banks or a need to feel prepared for emergencies. Last year alone, over 40,000 damaged banknotes were exchanged, the highest figure in a decade, amounting to 1.7 million euros. And I bet those people were quite glad that the bank happily changed them. Most were 20s and 50s. The rise follows a pandemic era spike as people chose to keep more cash at home during uncertain times. After the pandemic, we saw people coming in with damaged notes seeking to recover their value. So news there, of course, that if you do have a damaged note, you can get it changed for a decent note. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but I was on British TV yesterday because Jerry's been on the TV. Gilda's in the newspapers all the time. I'm just adding to the A-list nature of the Dream Team session. And I discovered I was going out to hundreds of thousands of people from San Martino yesterday, live from above the beach there, talking to the young gentleman who was reporting back to the celebrities. Some of you Brits here might know some of those faces on the bottom right-hand corner there. So flying the flag for Portugal yesterday morning live on British telly. Let's keep that up, Dream Team, the A-list here. Jerry, when are you on telly again?
Well, I just wanted to say, Carl, that you made the same mistake as me. You forgot to hold your stomach in.
I thought you might mention that. It was, Jerry, it was a Marilyn Monroe moment. It was the wind blowing up my shirt.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If I may compare myself to Marilyn Monroe for a moment. Right. Taste Portugal then. Would you agree with this? We might come back to this later, but this is interesting. Portugal, it's a 4.5 out of 5 in the Taste Atlas. And they suggest, I mean, obviously, it's a good place to start. The Pastel de Nata, the Bifana, the Bacalhau con Natas, and the Francesina and Port in the newbie column. Expert, they say, is Carne de Porco d'Alentajana, with the clams and the pork there. I think the barbecue chicken, grilled chicken, should be in the newbie section. Polvo alagreiro, perhaps. Arroz de marisco, I think that's a basic. I made that at home just recently. Ginginha. I kind of think all of these should be in a one great big newbie thing, perhaps apart from arroz de lampreia and the cogida, I think, as well. Those are advanced dishes, I think, for foreigners to try, perhaps. I don't know what a falar de Valpassos is. We might find out later. Carne de vinha de alhos, is that garlic and wine sauce? That doesn't sound terribly sophisticated or advanced. Eels, however, that might belong in the pro and veteran column there. Café con churrasco, that's just a good way to start any day of the week, really, as a newbie, but not for the faint-hearted, perhaps. Let's go to those questions then. Tim, did you have any more to ask? I think you dealt with this, Daniel. We've been frustrated for months now hearing that IMA's website is not accepting golden visa applications. What's up, and when can we expect our applications to be submitted? What do you think of that, Daniel? I think you referred to it more generally, didn't you?
I'm a bit lost on this one because we are able to submit new applications.
So we need to find out why Tim's having a blockage there.
Yeah, on our end, we are able to submit new applications, create new clients in I created a new client today in the Golden Visa application, and I've resubmitted a lot of processes as I was conveying before. So I don't see the problem with the AIMA's website at the moment. We had problems before, but not at the moment. And Golden Visa connected with investment funds, it's operating as it should. Although the biometric data appointments and the assessment times are quite slow, but that's the name of the game with AIMA. But apart from that, the website seems to be operating normally. So I really don't know how to provide advice on that one, because on our end,
what else can you say?
working perfectly.
And the portal is the same for everybody, is it? That's not a professional portal you're using. It's what anybody would use if they were applying.
No. So we as lawyers have a portal that we have all our clients concentrated in that same portal.
Okay.
And once we have a new client, we enroll the client with his email. So we log into the portal with our email, and then we have the client's email attached to his application. So on our web portal, we can consult all our clients, and it's a web portal specific for lawyers.
Okay.
The client's side, he can consult only his process, of course, and he can see if the documents were added or not. So the client has somewhat of a control on the process with that situation. But again, on our side, we're not feeling any distress from the web portal.
Okay, maybe Tim, you could reach out directly to Daniel then. That would be okay, Daniel, and pick it up from there.
Of course, not a problem.
I see your extra information there, Tim. I suggest a contact with Daniel might be useful in that regard. Any other questions, please pop them into the chat. I'll come back to your comment, Nuno, a little bit later on. And yes, going back to stashed cash, when the grandmother of a friend of mine died, her family found 10 grand in cash stashed away in coat pockets, purses, shoes, and folded up in towels. Oh, when her estate was settled, turns out she was worth over $5 million. Quite incredible. Over to Jonathan and the continuing adventures of Jonathan Booth in Portugal. Is this a plot twist? I don't think he's going to make it to Tamar, Jerry, here. After our scouting trip 4 weeks ago, we are so excited to have found a place for 5 months this fall, and we will be taking residents of our T2 townhouse in Tavira. We want to let you know that he had a delightful video interview with the property management team, and they were incredibly nice, and we agreed to have a meal and a glass of wine together as soon as we arrived. Excellent service. We are incredibly grateful for all the advice we have received since joining Expats Portugal. We're grateful to receive that as well. And maybe lunch with Jerry's on the cards a little bit later on in the journey, eh, Jerry?
Well, actually, Jonathan, we're all coming to Devira in June, so it's all around your house for sandwiches and coffee, I think, and a glass of wine. Thank you very much.
Result, Jonathan. Thank you for declaring that with us.
And I'm sorry, Jerry. I'll be in Tomar that day.
Right.
Oh, shucks.
house swap possibly there.
Well, that's all right. You carry on. Just leave the wine and the sandwiches for us to. We'll only be about 40 or 50 people, so it's no big deal. Okay. Thanks, Jonathan. Thank you so much for that.
Bit of cling film on those sandwiches. We'll be fine. Thanks, Jonathan, and have a great time in Tamar. Right, the European cruise. Can anybody address that? Here's my question. Did I hear a rumor about a Mediterranean cruise? Sorry, not a European, a Mediterranean cruise. Anything? Anyone? Tumbleweed.
Well, it's ongoing.
It was something that Astrid was hinting at.
Right.
So let her dig herself out of the hole that she's created.
No.
Go ahead.
We had a lovely lunch with Nuno, and he is working with a travel agent who is very keen to put together a bundle, I guess, so for a group booking, if we wanted to do something like a cruise. And I said, yes. Okay. So, Nuno, you need to send me more information so I can follow it up, and let's see if we can make it there's something we can do.
All right, that's in process then. Sorry, Nuno, go on.
No, they sent me an email this Tuesday or Wednesday with some additional questions. So yeah, I'll come back to you.
All right, so that's brewing nicely in the background, fermenting away there. Imagine that, an Expats Portugal Mediterranean cruise. That'll be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? And thank you, Jonathan, for that extra information about cruises. If you can't wait, you can pick up on Jonathan's link there. One of the advantages of a cruise, says Diana, is getting to travel all over, but having to unpack only once. Ah, yeah. I didn't think of that. That's very good. Plus the all-you-can-eat and drink nature of it, I think, as well, people like too. Keep those questions coming in, if you will. It's a bit quiet tonight. And welcome to those people who are watching on YouTube as well. If you've got any questions, just pop them into the chat over there. Debbie's hoping it's NCL because you've got a nice big credit with them. Okay, so I think this cruise idea has got legs, if that's probably not the right metaphor for a cruise, obviously. But yeah, it's an idea whose time may be coming soon. Astrid, could you share with us the destinations for the rest of the year? That came up in the conversation with Sarah earlier on. She was saying, I haven't traveled around Portugal enough. She's only been here 11 months, but is keen to travel the rest of the country. Might you tell us?
She's lying. She's been everywhere already.
Right.
I know.
She wants to see more, though, right?
She's been to more places than I have. She's
Okay.
everywhere.
All right, fair enough. Is she with us again? Because we did have the webinar. Are you here?
I am here. I'm here. Okay. No, there's still more to explore. Like I've not been to Braga and Ponte de Lima and up the north, and there's still more of the Alentejo, like Everest. So, yes, I have been to. She's right. But also, the Expats Portugal meetups are a great opportunity to do that. We went to Batalha, which I hadn't been to. We've got Coimbra and a few others. So, yeah, look forward to it.
Very good. Well, it just so
Okay,
happens
so
Braga is on the list. Yeah.
So we've got the Coimbra one, which is happening on the 12th of April. We're meeting up in Tavira in the Algarve on the 14th of June. We are going to Braga on the 9th of August. We're going to Óbidos on the 11th of October. And where else are we going? Oh, and we're going to Évora in December. So it's not too hot because Évora gets stinking hot.
Évora, that sounds great. Okay, all of these are up on the Expats Portugal website as well. Thanks for that, Astrid. Much appreciated. Yeah, next one in Coimbra. Can't wait, says Debbie. I was too late to reserve the bus. So there might be a market. If you have got a place on the bus, you can sell, you can maybe make an extra profit on your Coimbra bus ticket there. Oh no, I think Jerry's saying, oh, well, Carl, you can get off and walk and let Debbie have that seat. I think it's probably what was good. Yes, I should have kept my mouth shut.
Yes, be a gentleman. One of us will have to be a gentleman, Carl. It just means that one of us is going to have to go up all those steps.
Right. Okay. Well, you've seen how big my belly is. I can't possibly do it. To many expats, Jonathan says, have a concierge service for healthcare. We have a friend in Coimbra who uses one to make all his appointments, etc. And it's not what you know, but who you know. Back to Jerry for this one, I think.
We have one already. His name is Nuno Mendes, and I'd like to introduce him. He's on the right of my screen, and he and his team at Winsurance will guide you through everything you need to know about the health service in Portugal, and there's no additional charge.
Yeah, and that you don't advertise yourselves as such, do you? But that is the service that's on offer, concierge there. Nuno, would you like to say more?
So, in Portugal, once we attend to a private hospital, usually if afterwards we need for a specialist, they will recommend us 2 or 3 names. So once in the system, we'll solve and we'll be in the system to solve any issue with health regarding healthcare. Even to do lab work, like blood work, okay? So it's not something that I feel that it's really neat to have someone to check for doctor appointments. Actually, we are assisting all of our customers to teaching them how to do that because it's very easy. You will be empowered because you will set the appointment when you want, for the time you want, for the day that you want, and you don't need a third party just to do that. But this is only my whole opinion.
All right. Well, lots of help available with Winsurance. Thanks, Nuno, for that. And Jonathan coming back to us. Great to know Nuno as well. Thank you very much.
If you are struggling with that, just send us an email or WhatsApp or give us a call and we'll assist with you. We'll assist you with that.
Details for doing that are on the screen, as you can see. Really? Nuno there, a WhatsApp number and the email. Thank you very much, Nuno. Excellent. And forgive me, Pedro Franca is also here this evening. I overlooked you, Sarah. I'll come back to you in just a moment. And Pedro, good evening to you. Forgive me for overlooking you. I was getting excited about the news I was going to share. How are you this evening in Porto?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. I'm just returning from Lisbon. I was there for a couple of days working with our colleagues from Lisbon. Yesterday we had also the American Club some presentation, an event, networking event. And yeah, right now we are getting very busy because April is a critical month because April 1st starts the filing season of the income taxes in Portugal. April 15 is the due date for the filing season for US expats, for example. And April 6 will start the filing season for the UK citizens. So it's April is a terrible month.
You're in training, aren't you? You're limbering up, ready for this. It's not far
My
away.
email is getting is starting to get no more incoming messages. It's full.
Wow.
No, it's a busy season. I was just adding here some one comment to what Nuno was saying about health concierge, which is I've heard that and sorry that this is off topic of my industry, but I think it's interesting to share as well, is that the health history of the patients will have to be shared by all the health systems in Portugal, private or public. So right now our health information is shared among the public hospitals, okay, in the National Health Service. We have all our history there. If we go to a hospital in Lisbon, which a public hospital, they can access our patient history, okay? But soon this will be also mandatory for the private sector. I don't know, Nuno, if you have heard if you are on this topic or not, but I've heard this.
Yes,
I don't know if this how long it will take.
Due to the data protection law, it's not allowed yet to share this kind of information. Even though in EU zone, so not Europe, but EU countries, a law was approved, but it's not enforced already. That, as Pedro said, every hospitals, private and public, will be allowed to share information from their customers, no matter the country, or no matter if it's public or if it's private, which seems to be the best to do, because after getting residency in Portugal, you will be allowed to enroll to the SNS system, which is the NHR, the Portuguese NHR, so the public healthcare system. And after that, you can request free the EU health insurance. And this will allow you that when you are traveling among EU countries, get healthcare in a case of an emergency, or if it's a disease that requires, for example, a weekly care, you can schedule to get the same care into the country where you're traveling to. So I think that this will be very good to all of us.
Yeah. What sort of timelines are we talking about here?
They are politicians, and
right.
they make the law, and now, let's wait.
All right, so that's the direction of
Could be
travel.
tomorrow.
Okay, so the direction of travel is that way, as you've outlined there. But thank you, Pedro. And it's, you know what, it's never a problem to talk across the industries here, because I think there's so much excellent knowledge in our panel. Please don't feel obliged to stay in lane, as it were, with your particular professional topic. As citizens of Portugal, as residents of Portugal, as Portuguese people, we're very glad to hear from you from many points of view. So never be concerned about that. And thanks, Pedro, for mentioning that, and thanks, Nuno, for your update on that. But we shall see how that unfolds, both domestically and across the rest of the EU as well. because it's not the only issue they're dealing with at the moment. We had a nice cat chat in the earlier webinar. We've got a doggy chat as well now going on among the members over here on Zoom, which is great. Questions would be good too. Sarah, you did a great job in our earlier webinar, 7:30, talking about moving money, of course, into Portugal, buying euros. Would you like to share a few headlines from your webinar and a quick update from currency, if you don't mind?
Yes, I mean, obviously the main thing we talked about was the fact that this does get overlooked. I know that visa is one of the most important because, like myself, we need a visa in order to live in Portugal. You know, we need to think about the healthcare side of things, we need to think about the taxes, but ultimately you're moving your money to Portugal, you need to buy euros. So it's how can we manage that and manage the exchange rate movements, as we touched on. Sort of, we've seen a lot of volatility at the moment, and the challenges the markets are finding are hard to forecast going forward because we've got things that are obviously unprecedented, and there's a lot of information coming out on a daily basis, really. The main thing at the moment is the tariffs and the tariff war, and ultimately, it's how other countries are reacting to that. For example, Canada's not buying American goods. They obviously, some states they're talking, and then obviously Trump says he's going to put more tariffs on, and then, as I mentioned in the webinar, what's really going to be the knock-on effect of that going forward. So, for example, in the US economy, it will filter down because more tariffs will impact the American people because it'll be more expensive. And obviously, if people are not buying American goods, jobs are at risk as well. So we'll see, obviously, a knock-on effect going forward, as well as, whatever else might come out. Then we're talking about ceasefires. So there's a lot that can potentially move the markets, and we've already seen that with certainly selling US dollars and buying euros. 4.5% movement is quite dramatic. And if, for example, you were making a transfer, say in the last 2 weeks, 4 to 5% more expensive to buy those euros, really impacts your budget, and that's what we're trying to manage. And then also the speed of transfer, making sure you hit your deadlines and it's not being held up by compliance.
Okay. All right. Very good. And the whole webinar can be seen at 6 o'clock on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel this coming Sunday. It was a great job, Sarah. And I was saying earlier on, things always come up that we're not expecting. We think, like, okay, we've got this now. We know how to buy euros, but always things come up, don't they? Because we're challenging assumptions, generally speaking.
Yes, and I think one of the things that, we actually talked about, I think, with the lock-in with Jerry, was actually that some of the tools we have, are very useful. Say, if you're buying property, we can lock a rate, but also that might be useful, as Jerry said, for the passive income of something that's happening on a regular basis. Obviously, it is challenging to manage that if it's something that's going to be ongoing for a number of years, but we can maybe help manage it within a certain time frame. We can lock a rate for up to 12 months. So for 12 months, you know exactly how many euros you're getting every month. So there are tools that we have that can help manage those budgets.
Very good. And we chose to use the word lock rather than fix the rates,
yes.
didn't we, after a little bit of a conversation about that. Thanks, Sarah. Great job. Any more currency questions? Come back to Sarah on those.
Sorry, just a quick one. I don't think we said it in the webinar, but I'm going to put in the chat how you can contact us. And also we've got a moving money guide, so you can request a copy of that as well.
Great. Okay, excellent. Yes, Debbie, you're excused to take the dog out. Important things coming up in the chat tonight, and not literally, hopefully. Let's see. I think we had another question that came in. This one for you, Carolina. This is from Jonathan. It was something that was mentioned last week by Gilda. Do give her our best regards. Once in Portugal, Gilda was telling us last week that we just need to apply for an extension to allow Carleen, who's Canadian, to stay for the full 5 months. But will she be able to travel into Spain or the UK and return without problem? So the basics here, I think, Carolina, is the extension to the 3-month tourist visa, right? So you apply for an extension while you're here. Is that correct? First of all.
You are asking me or the person?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because assuming that they are requesting about the 3 month of the tourism, yes, an extension can be requested. It is a little tricky to get it, but it exists. And yeah, to be able to stay longer. The traveling after those 3 months for outside of Portugal, we can't guarantee it would work because we can only speak for Portuguese law. If this person is mentioning about a residency visa, is a different situation because it is a 4 month visa, and it will depend on more factors, like if the person didn't get an IMA appointment, they are not going to be stuck here until they do. So they might be able to travel. So I would need a little bit more details on the situation.
Okay, Jonathan, if you want to unmute, feel free. But if you prefer not to and just want to communicate via the chat, feel free to do that as well.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fine, Carl, and thank you very much. So our situation is that I am Irish British, so I've got both UK and EU passports. So there's no problem with me coming in, going out, coming in, etc. But Carleen will come in on a tourist visa. And my understanding at the moment is that I don't actually need to apply for residency for that period, or maybe I do. And we're thinking about a reunification visa, not in this 5 month period, although we could. But you can see the connection with the next question to do with tax, that for this 5 month period, we don't want to establish ourselves as Portugal tax residents for a bunch of reasons that Pedro gave me help with some weeks ago. But does that clarify it?
Yes, that fully changes the situation. So your wife, since she is a spouse of a EU citizen, it is a fully different situation. She's not just Canadian, she's Canadian plus family member of a EU citizen. So that changes the whole picture. Ideally, when she travels outside of those 3 months of the tourism, uh, if she's not with you, she should bring with her like just a copy, simple copy of your passport, Irish passport, and your marriage certificate, so that she's on the safe side. So if something happens, she has proof. It's even on IMA's website that is okay. We can send you the link to that. So, but yeah, that's completely fine. But from what I'm understanding, you don't wish to establish yourselves with a permanent residency in Portugal, correct?
Not yet. If we move to that and we settle in Tomar and keep Jerry happy, then we will. Then we would consider, or not consider, we will come in. But there's also factors to do with the capital gains tax and the timing of us selling our home here in the US. So that's why it kind of the immigration issues and the tax issues, go hand in hand. And I've become more and more aware that we just got to tread carefully and appropriately, and also be respectful of the Portuguese immigration system.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Anything further to add to that, Carolina?
No, the Pedro can help us understand that part of the tax. If Jonathan wants, I can explain the part of the future process that he will need to do later when it's time, because it will be a different process for him, different process for the wife. But yeah, for tax, Pedro needs to jump in and save me.
Okay, let's get Pedro to do that. Jump in, the Capes Crusader of taxation affairs. We'll see you now, and then we'll come back to Carolina, because even if that's not especially useful to you right now, Jonathan, I think that's a general principle that people might be interested in as well, Carolina. So we'll come back to you for that to talk about the process after. But Pedro, please save us.
Okay. So, Caroline and Jonathan, do you already? I don't remember if you already have a lease contract. Or did you buy a house?
No, we didn't buy a house in Portugal. We have rented for 5 months. They called it a long-term lease, but in my language, it isn't long-term for just 5 months.
Yeah, and even the tax authorities to change your residency, your tax status to a Portuguese resident, they will require at least a 1 year rental contract, so a long-term rental contract.
Yeah.
So a 5 months will not do it. But answering directly your question, if there's anything additionally that you can do, so because you don't have a house, it's difficult to be a tax resident. So you are ruling out the tax residency.
Right.
And the number of nights that you are spending in Portugal, it's important that you track this down on an Excel spreadsheet, because the rule is the number of nights in any 12 months period, consecutive or not, that it must not exceed 183. So this is a moving calculation. So you may be not resident in during this 5 months period, but when you come back, if a certain time has not elapsed yet, you may be triggering residency since the beginning. So it's complicated, but I think the fact that you have a lease contract that is less than 1 year rules out this possibility.
How about that?
Thank you. And Carl, I would just say that this is helpful advice to everyone. And Pedro went through all this on a very, very helpful tax consultation that I had, or that we had with him. I don't know, 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago. I can't remember.
February, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for being like a case study basically tonight, Jonathan. Really helpful. So if we could return to the other part, thanks, Pedro, to Carolina. And this is an Irish citizen, so somebody within the EU realm, and then a Canadian, so Canadian with EU benefits. I guess we might say for Carolina. Carolina, what happens going forward?
Okay, so the process goes by first you getting yourself settled in Portugal. You'll need to get a lease, purchase a state or get a lease. You'll need to have like a base, and that will determine where you are going to register yourself, because you are going to need to have a document called, we call it CRUE, CRUE, which is the Certificate of Registration of EU citizen. I know the designation doesn't match the words, but it's just because it's a Portuguese expression and I'm telling it in English. And that will be the process for you. A piece of paper saying that you are intended to live in Portugal for the next 5 years. After you have that piece of paper that you will get at the parish council where you'll be living. So let's say if you rent in Tomar, you will do this process for yourself in Tomar. Then only after you get that paper, you can do your wife's process, which is done in a completely different setting. For her, it will be like a proper migration situation. So booking an appointment in IMA over the phone or via email, depending on which one works faster. But we recommend trying both at the same time. Then attending that appointment, you need to attend it as well and show the documents, which is pretty much like rental agreement, proof of NIF, Ideally, you should show that you have savings of around minimum 11,000 euros. And yeah, that's more or less a few more things that I don't recall. I don't recall all of them by the top of my head. And then Kayleen will be waiting between 2 to 3 months for the permit to be issued. Once it is issued, it's mailed to your Portuguese address. It is going to be a card valid for 5 years. And yeah, the process is finished. So synthesizing this whole thing, for you will be a piece of paper. For your wife, it will be a proper card.
And this is reunification in terms of Carleen.
Family reunion, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Article 15.
There you go. That will become very familiar to you in due course, Jonathan. Article 15.
We assist with this, so yes. Give us a call, and we are happy to do it to go the smoother possible without less hiccups as possible.
There you go. Thanks, Carolina. Thanks, all right. And thanks, Jonathan, for making yourself a case study this evening. But that's really helpful for other people as well as yourselves there. So all the best in that process. Yeah, enjoy Tavira and ultimately Tamar as well. It's like we've all got an investment in where you live, isn't it? How does that feel?
Kind of scary, but
all right. Well,
you can put a book on it. You know, we could open a book and
why not? Why not?
As to where Carleen but I'm also interested in this place, Torres Vedras.
Yeah, absolutely. Best carnival destination in the country. You get to dress up as a woman once a year there. So obviously that needs to be in the running as well, Jonathan. But more about that on another occasion, perhaps. We've got some really exciting things coming up in the diary. So I'll come to you, Astrid, when you're ready on that. Because of course we'll be talking to Philomena again soon. There's Hank and Connie's gathering, and there's a new Saturday night fixture as well. So we'll come back to you probably towards the end on those, Astrid. Yes, if you said it was a little bit scary, maybe not as scary as cow's feet. So we will return to the whether you are newbie, export, or pro. And what I'm going to ask our panel to do tonight is perhaps add something to the pro column, which Nunu's already done. Was it cow heels or cow's feet you were suggesting if people really want to go to the sort of esoteric levels of Portuguese cuisine?
So we say mão de vaca com grão.
Right.
I know that Carolina doesn't like it because she expressed that once, but right. I really love it. It's a strong meal. It's mainly a wintertime meal.
Okay, the strong, robust red wine by the sound of it.
Yes.
And that is cow's feet, I think, isn't it? Or cow heels, as they'd be called.
Yes.
With chickpeas, I think.
Yes.
A bit of contrast in there.
Correct,
okay.
correct.
And that definitely goes in the pro column next to lamprey and eels, I think. João Amaral, what would you add to the advanced Portuguese culinary repertoire for foreigners?
I will put feijoada.
Oh, really? Okay, so a bean stew.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe also papas de serrabulho.
Oh, that's the
even heavier.
Okay, chicken blood.
No, not chicken.
Okay.
It's pork.
Right.
Also with blood, okay, but pork.
Okay.
And bread and things like that. Normally, it's done in the north, in the region of Braga.
Okay, all right. Put hairs on your chest. So that serrabulho, does that mean with blood? Basically, is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
João Amaral, thank you very much for putting that into, I don't know, maybe causing some sleepless nights around the world this evening. Thank you very much for that suggestion. Serving suggestion only. It's not compulsory. It's not part of the visa process, is it, Carolina, that you have to eat one of these dishes?
Well, that would be very funny. Like if you had to present like a photo of yourself trying those foods.
Yes.
That would be no. I don't know if most people know that, but it is very common from the American community to come to move to Portugal without ever being in Portugal. So it would be fun to see them try weird foods like for us that are normal, comparing that they've never experienced the rest. Like they would think that we were crazy, like eating like tripas, for example, or the bloody things.
The bloody things.
Every
Tripas, is that
there's
going to be?
always a rice in blood in all like
Cabidela.
city. Yeah, that one, cabidela. Oh, I
Oh,
hate all
that is
that.
the chicken one. That's the chicken one, isn't it, Cabidela? Carolina, what would you add to this list then in the pro column?
Well, since Nunu was speaking about cows,
Yeah.
there's also a cow specialty that is very famous, cow's tongue.
Oh yes, yes, I saw them in Mercadona yesterday. There was a nice little row of them. Okay, and how would you cook it?
Oh, I wouldn't. I No,
Basically,
you asked me to just say something.
yeah,
You
fair
didn't
enough.
ask me if I liked
No,
it.
no, okay, yeah, I don't want a recipe. That's fair enough. We won't put you on the spot any further. And I had a shock yesterday. I was with an American friend, new to Portugal, 4 months here, and they hadn't had a pastel de nata in that time. Now, I did say to them, if you go to your IMA appointment and say that, that's going to be causing a lot of trouble. So they put it right there and then on the spot. And they had it. We were in Caldas and we went to the Becco bakery there, which has some of the best bread and pastries in the country. Although that's a tough title to contend for, isn't it? But anyway, we put that right. Thank you, Carolina. Let's go to Pedro Franco for your addition to this list in the pro column, please, Pedro.
Oh, okay, Carolina took my cow tongue,
right,
which is something that is delicious. So staying on the cow and on these strange parts, like hands and feet.
right.
But I also could add the pork knee roasted. So it's pernil, pernil.
Okay, knuckle, pork knuckle.
Pork knuckle, sorry, pork knuckle.
Yes. Okay.
So roasted on fire or in the oven.
Yes.
It's so good. It's
Very good.
also a dish that we eat here in the north. So north of Porto.
Yes. And I think IKEA do it as well, don't they? There's a pork knuckle in IKEA that I've had in Lodz, I think, or very similar. That's like a baked or sort of braised.
It's a very common dish for example, in Germany. So yeah.
All right.
The Portuguese version is very good.
Very good. Thank you, Pedro, for that. Alexandra, what would you add to this list? It's getting more difficult now, isn't it? Because
yeah, because I was thinking about the tongue as well. So
sorry.
Well, I think one thing that I remember is maybe you can be the ear of the pork, the
Oh
ear
yes, pig's
of the
ears. Yeah,
pork,
yeah.
or snails.
Oh
We
yeah.
eat a lot of snails, especially in summertime.
Caracoish. Yeah, and you need to be sat there for quite a long time with 2,000 tiny snails in a bowl of
it's
garlic
true.
butter. Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here tonight, Alexandra. Much
You're
appreciated.
welcome.
Daniel, finally on this, I think that's all of the Dream Team panel. What would you suggest?
Alexandra stole my one, the Caracoish. It's indeed for pros. But I don't know, in terms of the newbie, where's the cozido? It should be mentioned there. It's one of the Portuguese more traditional dishes, but probably a sorda de alho. I think it's an acquired taste. A sorda de alho would be for the pro level.
Very good. A sorda in there as well. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for being here tonight. Thanks, Dream Team. Great job this evening. Debbie says, I'll only be having a ginginha and port off that list there. Linguist. Is that a joke? Is that an April the 1st one? Linguist de bacalhau.
No, it's true. It's
seriously.
True. Wow. Right? Yes. It is very good.
That's a new thing to me tonight. So cod tongue.
Yeah.
Well,
rice.
Cod tongue rice. There you go. All right, Astrid, over to you. Which of those are you going to start with?
And Carl, I'm not sure she's here. I think
All right, fair enough. Let me just very quickly then, if I may, some great things coming up. We've got language and culture session, of course, Thursday the 3rd. That'll be next Thursday with Philomena. And then is Portugal right for me? Discovery session. That's April 5th, the Saturday night. And Connie's here. Connie's often here on a Thursday night, just listening in the background. It's lovely to have your company, Connie, and your Saturday social with Hank. Is happening next Saturday, the 5th as well. And then we're going to be navigating architectural services in Portugal on Thursday, the 10th. So lots lined up, lots of great things to come. A last word from you, Jerry. Did you want to add anything to that fine list of foods?
Well, I am surprised that nobody's mentioned the best Portuguese dish of all, which is grilled sardines. I can't believe that's not on the list anywhere.
Where was it? Where was it? That is a
I know. So that list is not accurate. It needs to be thrown out and started again. Okay. So
it does, and we should have our own Expats Portugal version of that, shouldn't we?
Yeah. And the next week's webinar at 7:30 is with Philomena, as you mentioned, Carl, and it's all about the fairs and the festivals. As we move into summer now, the clocks go forward.
Yep.
On Sunday in Portugal, Sunday morning. So spring is here, and it'll be good to hear from Philomena about all these wonderful things. So that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Some people are really hungry now. Some people have been completely put off eating anything for a few hours, I think. So thank you very much, Dream Team. Great job. Thanks, everybody, for all your questions, and we'll see you.